Jordan
What is
Addison.
going on, everybody? Yes, that is how we'll
Jordan
probably be
Addison.
starting this once we get into the show. But thank you, everybody, for hopping in with us tonight. The last time of the offseason that we're going to be part-timers, because after we'll be off next week, but after that, with training camp kicking into full gear and preseason starting shortly after that, we'll be every week Monday. So next week is the last week of part-time in it. Then after that, we're back to a full-time schedule. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. There are some things that we will talk about soon here. Also, tonight we're going to go. We had to do this for Bleacher Report last week, so we figured we'd just carry over to today our all-time Vikings lineup and roster. So we got quite the jam-packed show tonight.
Yeah, let's go. What's going on, everybody? I see my guy Gary in the building. Sup, Skol mates? Too evil. Hi, Gary. Sup, brother? Hey, yes, won't be long till we hanging out. Oh yeah, that's one thing I did forget. I forgot to grab the Skol Fest poster thing or whatever. But yeah, Skol Fest, corner bar. You know, I know Gary knows a lot about that place. We spent a lot of time there together last year, actually, with Gary buying us like unlimited amount of shots, and I'm expecting the same thing again. But yes, I can't wait. Skol Fest this year. We'll see you all there. My cousin Berserk in the building. What's going on? Big Raylin dad, our guy. What is going on, Big Raylin? Who else we got in here? Who am I missing? I seen all the Addison stuff in here right before we start. Hey, our guy JJ Vikings. What's going on? And hey, that's actually good. So today, instead of a card, we're going to give away another GG Sports Podcast shirt. So get those hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. Like Casey said, this will be our last. Next week, we won't have a show on Monday, but then after that, we will have a show at 6 Central every single Monday until probably after next year's draft season. So we will be here a lot. And we have some good stuff coming for y'all, for real. Hashtag Skol, what's up? No, he's a young kid with a problem. Yeah, we'll get into all that good stuff. We got the hashtags here. Hashtag Skols. No stop. What's going on? Hashtag Skol. Welcome in. He deleted. Chance they told him he's gone. Fucking idiot.
I doubt it.
I doubt it. But
I think that's a little overzealous to say that.
Yeah. We'll get into it. We'll go into it.
One thing I did want to say is we finally slayed the no monetization dragon. We finally got all of our address stuff figured out, so we are officially monetized again. Couldn't happen at a better time as we roll into the regular season. So
yeah, took
big
us
news on GG Sports Podcast side of things. We have a bank account set up. We have a little sponsorship deal that we'll talk about soon. So everything is looking up.
Everything's looking up,
unfortunately.
Yeah. So
and Justin Jefferson's got a new baby, but outside of that, though, everything's great.
Yeah, wide receivers are, and we have a video coming out tomorrow about wide receivers, I guess. But yeah, Justin Jefferson, I guess the baby is his.
You are the father.
Yeah, you are the father, Justin Jefferson. He is a father. Sounds like, hopefully with him, I'm assuming he definitely will step up and be the dad he needs to be now, going through that whole process. You never know how those things are going to work out for these athletes.
Always something. Trade JJ's gone, so now he's
Jerry. Yep. So yeah, he is the father. So that's one thing. And then of course we might as well. Hey, there it
Gary,
is.
With the $4.99. Thank you so much, Gary. We appreciate it. Click it. I clicked it.
Appreciate you, Gary. Yeah, I know, man. It was. But yeah, this Jordan Addison stuff, we gotta hit on it, of course. Right away. Obviously, anytime you drink and get behind the wheel, it's an absolute
or smoke.
Or smoke. Well, we don't know
what he did at this point.
They didn't say. Yeah, they didn't specify whether it was alcohol for sure, right?
Well, because
they driving under the influence.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's different in California, but normally, like in Minnesota, if you get pulled over on Friday night, you ain't getting out till Monday morning. And he was out 2 hours after Saturday, like at 1 a.m. Saturday. So I don't know what exactly. Again, if someone's familiar with California law when it comes to that stuff, go ahead and let me know. Hey, Big Raylan, thank you so much.
Let's go.
Appreciate you.
Do not trade Addison. He will be fine. I think so as well.
He's young. Like you said earlier, Big Raylan, he's a kid.
He's stupid. It was a dumb move. I know it hurts a little bit extra because of everything that happened with Kyrie Jackson, which we weren't able to talk about. We haven't been on any of these shows to talk about as well. And everything that happened to Kyrie Jackson obviously sucks. I know all of us
Yeah.
Had high hopes for him. I'm sure everybody around him had high hopes, and I thought he was going to be a really good player. And it's extremely unfortunate for him to, go out the way he did, and especially from another person who's behind the wheel drunk, which obviously I think that's what's really getting people with this whole Jordan Addison thing specifically, besides the fact that it is stupid no matter what, is the fact that you did see what happened to Kyrie Jackson a week ago. And we all know Jordan Addison was a big Kyrie Jackson fan himself. So that's a big one there. But with Jordan Addison, he's stupid. You can't make these mistakes a lot. A lot of people make this one dumb, stupid mistake, and a lot of people learn from it. A lot of people don't. Unfortunately, there's some people that doesn't matter. You do it one time and there's consequences. And luckily for Jordan Addison, this isn't the case for him.
Right. Henry Ruggs was that guy, right? Yeah. Like, look what happened to him. One night out drinking, and look kind of what went down there. But yeah, I mean, if you ask me, I could see, and I think because we were having the discussion before we hopped on here about will the league do something, or is it going to end up being the team? I think that the league is going to,
Gary, when we get around to it. We'll try to do this before the season, I promise.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
I do think the league is going to go to the Vikings, say you guys do something, or we will. And I do think it'll be a pretty hefty fine, maybe a 1-game suspension, suspend him for the Giants game. Because at that point, like, you're punishing him personally, right? No, you're not making your money. You're going to miss a game check, but also it's that thought process of you doing something stupid took you away from the team now. And now instead of you're not letting yourself down, you're letting everybody else on this roster and coaching staff down, and the people who invested their draft pick in you and crazy. Right. Like, you're letting more than just yourself down by getting suspended for a game for doing something like this, right? And I do think and is it going to stop? Most likely, because I think 1 year after 140 mile an hour speeding ticket plus this, I don't think that Jordan Addison's going to have a license for quite a while, personally. Like, I think it comes down to the legal system. I think, again, it happened 2 different states, but I'm sure that it's going to be on his record, in both states. So I would guess something happens where he probably doesn't have a driver's license for a while.
Hey, stop. It was a tough weekend all around,
man. We really appreciate that.
Appreciate you big time, bro. No stop with the 10. Thank you. Yeah, dude. It was tough. It was all tough. Starting with the Kyrie Jackson, specifically that, luckily with the whole Jordan Addison thing, nobody got hurt. He wasn't hurt. I think it's really extra unfortunate that he was passed out behind the wheel. So if it is alcohol anyways, if it ends up being alcohol, he must have been pretty damn drunk.
Yeah.
Which,
well, and then like
who knows?
When I read that, I'm like, okay, so at least, he realized he was too drunk and pulled over to the side of the road or whatever. But then they said he pulled over to the spot where he was like blocking off. So obviously he blocking an entrance ramp or an exit ramp. So obviously he didn't really know what was going on at that point either. So it's all around. Yes. I mean, I don't think we don't want to dwell on this too much. Like, I think there will be a punishment handed down from the team. I don't think the league gets involved. I think the team takes care of it. I mean, I do think the one way you do it is suspend him for a game to again, realize, like, you made a mistake. You got lucky it didn't hurt somebody else. And now you're letting your entire team down by missing a game. And week 1, as we all know, is important. It's how you get off onto the right foot, right?
Right.
Like, so.
And as far as like him deleting stuff off social media, I mean, you see players do that all the time. It doesn't mean that they're gonna go anywhere. I don't know. Maybe he's upset with something that's happening. Maybe he's gonna get in a little bit of trouble. I don't really know, unless it's more serious somehow than we think, or something.
I think it's just, or I don't know, but then
that'd be like the only scenario. But
then he was also here. I think yesterday he had a football camp in Minnesota, so he was here for that. So
okay.
I don't know. And JJ, for this one, I do think I heard somewhere that the NFLPA, they have a program for if the players go out and they get have too much fun. I think the NFLPA actually has a system in place where they can get rides. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. Everything's out there in front of you for you to get home without having to drive yourself, right? And I get it. Like, I think we've all had the thought process where you go out somewhere, you bring your car, you're like, man, I really don't want to leave my car here. It's okay. I'm not that drunk. I'll just get it home because I really don't want to leave my car at the bar. But it's just, you can't have it, especially again in a position that he's in, with it not being his first time doing something like this.
They got rid of that.
Oh, did they? I thought I had heard somewhere that was still a thing. Which maybe they need to bring it back, because it seems like it'd be a good thing. It seems like it'd be a good thing to have. But then again, I guess it's kind of then like saying, hey, go out and drink and have fun. I don't know. I guess it depends on how you look at all that. But either way,
no excuses.
Uber is still a thing. A $20 Uber ain't going to be that bad compared to costing your or somebody else's life and now potentially costing your team as well. So
yeah, I mean, we can't be. Hopefully this is the last time we have to talk about him with anything, but especially with this whole car thing. Yeah, I don't know. Stupid. Yeah. Hopefully he learns from it. I would like, part of me wants him to get a couple of games suspension, even though obviously that will suck because we want him on the field, but he needs to learn. It's not good to do that outside of whether this is football or not. Like, he needs to know you can't do that stuff again, which hopefully he does, because this is going to be a big one, I think. Well, and it's probably going to bring him down quite a bit. But.
And he's so talented. Like, that's the thing. Like,
right.
Has a chance to be one of the top 5 wide receiver 2s in the league if things keep going the way they were going, especially with JJ here still. So,
yep.
But anyways, enough on that. Maybe later we'll talk about a certain someone getting shot this weekend once we're done, just for a little bit of go from there. But
just some politics in here. We'll keep. Yeah, this weekend was wild, bro.
It was a wild weekend. It was an absolutely
wild
weekend. But let's get back. Let's look on the good side of things for a little bit.
Training camps around the corner. We got what? They show up at camp in a little bit over a week, I believe. What's going on, Two Toned? Oh, and Bob Sweet in the building. Hey, everybody. Right, Rat pissed. He messed up his. What did he do with the Skol Fest flyer that he messed up on? I didn't notice that. Berserk, no politics, please.
I mean, it wouldn't be politics. It would just be talking about the crazy weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But again, everybody in here, we're giving away the GG Sports Podcast shirt. So get the hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. All that good stuff for everybody new who's in here. All of that. But yes, a week and a half. What up, Two Toned? That's my guy in here. Week and a half, people show up to training camp, all that good stuff. So this is kind of like the last week of not much going on. Starting next week, we should start hearing more and more things getting exciting,
and hopefully we hear about 2 more people getting some more money, because that still needs to happen before next week, because JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner actually can't practice in training camp until they sign their contracts. So
so that's something that we should, at least that's news for something next week, right before training camp.
I think Ben Gessling said that he kind of expects it to be late next week before the first on-field practice.
Yeah. So that's why today we're going to dive into our Vikings all-time list, starting with coach.
So basically, the way when we were given this task by Bleacher Report, the way that we decided to do it finally was, if we were going to build a team based off of Vikings, like the Vikings all-time players, who we put at each position. So there are a couple guys who are probably listed as a different position if you look at their Pro Football Reference page, but we had to move them around to fit more good players and kind of where we wanted to set them all. So we'll get into a couple. There wasn't too many of that, but there were a couple, which we'll get into.
And for everybody who's watching now, anybody that's in here, and then especially anybody who's watching after this, just a heads up. Obviously, a lot of these players we have on our list, and just players in general, we were not around for some of the greatest Viking players of all time, specifically, the late 1960s, early 1970s, when it was like the prime Viking age. Obviously, we know who the greats are. We know why they're great, but we didn't get to actually physically watch them. So maybe there's a couple of decisions we made that are a little bit biased based off of the players that we've kind of grown up watching. But that is not the case with starting here at head coach, and of course, Bud Grant. I mean, at this point, it's no brainer. We haven't had a ton. I feel like we haven't had like a ton of just really great head coaches. I'm hoping Kevin O'Connell can be like the next one. What do you think on Bud Grant?
I mean, pretty easy. I mean, only coach that ever actually lead us to a Super Bowl. I don't think there's much more you really need to say. I mean, Hall of Famer, considering one of the all-time great coaches. Yeah, man. Love me some Bud Grant.
I'll call. So he was the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings for 18 years, from 1967 to 1983 and 1985. Compiled a 620 winning percentage in the regular season play. Led the Vikings to 10 NFL NFC Central Division titles in 11 seasons. Won the 1969 NFL Championship. He did win that. That's a big one. That's a big one. And NFC titles in 90, in 73, 74, and 76. Coached the Vikings to 4 Super Bowls, as everybody knows. And that's why it's the no-brainer. I mean, if we get even another coach that can even go to a Super Bowl, they're automatically the second best coach we've ever had. So that's just going to be how it works. No, but we've had a number of assistant coaches that have gone to it. Yeah, I know. Haven't we? Some of the best. Some of the best.
Call my shot. Kevin O'Connell wins us that Super Bowl in his tenure here. Call my shot.
Hey, the first one to win a Super Bowl. If Kevin O'Connell wins one Super Bowl, would he go above Bud Grant?
Oh, yeah.
Even though Bud Grant's win
absolutely
instantly,
absolutely.
Right? If you win a Super Bowl, that's it. That's it.
If Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl, he becomes the greatest Vikings quarterback of all time. Not that there's a lot of competition.
And we're going to get into that. I think you're going to be surprised with the direction we go once we get there. But we're going backwards here. So we're actually, instead of giving you a quarterback next, we're going to go to defense, starting with the legendary Carl Eller, selected 6th overall pick in 1964 NFL draft out of the University of Minnesota, started at left defensive end in all 4 Viking Super Bowl, joined Jim Marshall and Mick Tingeloff as the only players in Vikings history to start 200-plus games, named All-Pro 5 times and played in 6 Pro Bowls, holds the Vikings records for a total sacks with 130, only Vikings to post 15-plus sacks in season multiple times. And then obviously we got the boy Jared Allen, ranked 7th on the Vikings all-time sack list with 83.5 sacks, helped the Vikings achieve 3 seasons with at least 10 wins, including 12-4 season in 2009. Minnesota captured back-to-back NFC North titles in 2008 and 2009 with Allen on the roster. Did not miss a single game for the Vikes, starting 96 regular seasons and 4 games. And 4 playoff games, recorded 25 passes defense, 16 forced fumbles, and 9 fumble recoveries, and 4 interceptions. 2011 campaign featured a franchise record and league best 22 sacks, obviously barely missing the record from Michael Strahan, which would have been 22 and a half. But yep, nearly tied the single season record, and then tied for the most career safeties in NFL history with 4.
Did he? So he must have got the one for running Orlovsky out of the back of the end zone, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I assume that was credited to him. And obviously, as you see the names there, Jim Marshall, Chris Dolman, like when you talk about all-time Vikings defensive ends, like those two need to be said. We went with Jared Allen because, again, as we said, we did have to go with a little bit of what we grew up with. And my first year being a Vikings, like big-time Vikings fan, 2009. I didn't really care about football up until then. But when I actually became a huge Vikings fan, Jared Allen was the guy. He was my favorite player. And we could not put this list together, us two specifically, without having Jared Allen on there. So
yeah,
and Marshall, obviously, maybe if you didn't run the wrong way, you might be number 2. Chris Dolman, we know how good he was. He was 5th all time for
Marshall.
Yeah, 96.5.
Yep.
But
I know. So we had to put them both. I think this is the only one where we put 2 honorable mentions. Yeah. There's a few positions, obviously. Defensive end, wide receiver, safety, where Vikings have had a ton of talent. And then there's other positions where, not so much, which is kind of crazy when you dive into all this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what we got from the defensive ends. As far as defensive tackles go, I already saw Raylan talking about the one and only Alan Page.
Supreme Court Justice Alan Page.
Supreme Court Justice Alan Page played 236 consecutive games at defensive tackle, including 4 Super Bowls, of course, and 9 Pro Bowls, named NFL MVP in 1971, NFC Defensive Player of the Year 4 times, ranks 4th all-time in sacks for the Vikings with 108. Stud. I'll jump right into John Randall here. This is another player. We kind of saw a little bit of him at the tail end of his career. And out of like any of the Vikings players that I really wish I would have been able to like watch in their prime, I think John Randall's one of them just because of his energy that he brings. I know we made the Ivan Pace video and we kind of, because they're both undrafted, kind of made some comparisons to Ivan Pace. And and John Randall, and I dug into John Randall quite a bit. So I really wish I would have been able to watch him. But he joined the Vikings in 1990. As I said, an undrafted rookie from Division II Texas A&I, led or tied for the team lead in sacks 9 times in 11 Viking seasons, recorded 10 plus sacks in 8 straight seasons, which is insane. Ranks third Vikings history with 114 career sacks, the most by a defensive tackle. Earned starting spots in 6 straight Pro Bowls with the Vikings and a Pro Bowl spot in 2001 with the Seahawks. Named to the NFL Team of the Decade for the 1990s. Hey, what's going on, Roger? Welcome in. Welcome in.
And I mean, and the one thing that doesn't show up on the stat sheet for John Randall, elite shit talker, elite trash talker out there on the field, which is one of my favorite things about him.
Facts.
And obviously, as you saw on their honorable mention, we did go with the Williams wall, Pat and Kevin Williams. What more can be said? They're exactly kind of what we wish we had now, right? The big, hefty run stopper and the guy that was a little more agile, could just get after it in both phases of the game, which is what we had back then. Those two with Jared Allen. And I always forget the guy on the other side, Edwards. I know that was his last name. Ray Edwards. Like, that was some dominating pass rush right there. Dominating defensive interior. I wish and hope that someday this team gets back to that, adding some meat to the middle of the defensive line like we need. I would love to have a Williams wall again with these edge rushers that we have. I would love to add a Williams wall to that.
Dude, 100%. And that's why we had to put him here. And I think I would have probably put Kevin Williams third by himself, but we had to put the whole Williams wall here.
Yeah, for sure.
It had to be done.
So I guess technically that was another one where we did have 2 honorable mentions, but
yeah, technically
details.
Whatever. For linebackers, starting with Matt Blair, played all 12 seasons of his career with the Vikings, holds team records with 20 blocked kicks. He also notched 23 sacks and 16 interceptions. Second most tackles in Vikings history with 1404. Named to the Pro Bowl for 6 straight seasons and also played the last 2 Super Bowls that we went to. Obviously, again, another player. We never, of course, these are players we didn't personally get to watch. You know, it's just stories, legendary stories that we hear from everybody else about these kind of players. But what we got?
We looked at it too, and I feel dumb that I can't remember.
Was the 4th member on the Purple People Eaters line? Okay, kids.
For kids? That's that.
No. 4th member of the Purple People Eaters line. So you got, because we already said Alan Page, you got
Carl Eller, you got Jim Marshall,
and
we're forgetting the other one. And as soon as someone says it, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah,
I know.
And I already feel like a dumbass. But all right, go ahead, Big Raylan. Who is it? Let us know.
Who is it?
Oh, I feel bad. We should know this.
I mean, come on. We weren't even close to being alive yet.
Yeah.
I got to watch a lot of them. Dude, I know. I wish I did.
Yeah. And we've gotten to see some pretty good players throughout our time, which we'll get into. Gary Larson. Okay. As like you said, kids, we're young.
Yeah.
We're young.
It's all good. We'll keep going here, though. Linebacker Scott Studwell, Vikings all-time leading tackler with 1981 tackles in 14-season career. One of the only 5 Vikings to have played 200 games for the franchise. Holds team records for single-season tackles with 230 in 1981 and single game with 24 in a game against Detroit in 1985. Led the Vikings in tackles in 8 seasons. Obviously, another stud right there. There's a couple guys that were like, we're just a little bit late. Like, you had guys like Chris Dolman and Scott Studwell that were like right before us being born.
And obviously, Studwell, what also needs to be mentioned, 28 years as the Vikings personnel department, serving 12 of those as the director of college scouting as well. So stayed with the team even after retirement, which is cool.
Yep. Hey, Vocal Vike in the building.
What's going on?
What up, my guy? What up? Let's keep going, because then we get to talk about a guy that we actually did get to watch, and that's Chad Greenway. Had to put him on this list. And then obviously honorable mention, we did sneak Eric Kendricks on here too, who was the only middle linebacker that somewhat made our list here. But Chad Greenway ranks 4th all time in tackles for the Vikes with 1334, played 11 seasons with the Vikes and made 2 Pro Bowls.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, Chad Greenway, I mean, near the end of his career, obviously, as they all do, he wasn't the fastest guy on the field, but he always brought the leadership. Always a sound. I mean, as you saw there, I think he led the team in tackles pretty much every year he was here. Just solid tackler, solid all around linebacker, good team leader. Then I know we were talking about it during our live stream on Bleacher Report about how maybe had they used him properly, then again, would that put him on defense end? We don't really know. That maybe Anthony Barr could have potentially made this list. He was here for quite a while. Obviously, Zimmer's first draft pick in 2014. Had they used him as more of what he did best, maybe he could have ended up making this list. But with what he did, I just felt like he was utilized in the wrong way and didn't always show up when he needed to. Solid player, but definitely not worthy of, I think, being on the all-time Vikings list, personally.
No. But we haven't. I mean, this is one of those positions we never really had like super studs, guys that made Pro Bowls every single year.
Right.
A lot of longevity. All these guys, longevity. Chad Greenway. I mean, we haven't really seen anybody like Chad Greenway stay on our team for 11 years since him. Harrison Smith would be the one guy, right?
Yeah.
So you don't see that a lot lately, and I don't know. We never had really any big studs. I don't know when things are said and done about how that will work with Dallas Turner, if they're just going to count him as an edge rusher.
Right. Yeah.
But if you want to count him as a linebacker, hopefully he can kind of be that next guy for us and, dominating. But I think now, I mean, if we made this list for for this kind of NFL, you probably would just have edge rusher and not really even have like defensive ends.
Because it really isn't. Like in the 3-4, it's edge rusher, and then defensive ends are kind of like your two outside tackles, and you have a nose tackle. Right. There. So it's all.
We obviously went with defensive.
We went 4-3 because that's what this defense has played in for at least most of my memory. So, you want to talk about a position with not a lot of studs?
Yeah, this one specifically, arguably the worst position group in Vikings history. Even though there's some players we do like, but Antoine Winfield, number 1, Xavier Rhodes, and then we went with Carl Lee, number 3. Xavier Rhodes.
Prime Xavier Rhodes, like 2016, 2017, Xavier Rhodes was peak Vikings cornerback play.
Dude, probably, I mean, you could say it was the best. It might have been the best cornerback season in Vikings from a coverage standpoint, for sure.
I mean, my favorite memory is him and Odell Beckham in 2016. The game, I think we went, that was our 4th straight win to start that season. He absolutely pissed off Odell, made him go apeshit on the sidelines. I love it. Then obviously 2018 started I don't know if you want to call them faking injuries or what have you, whenever he got beat. Xavier Rhodes' prime was very short-lived, but man, that 2016-2017 season, so fun watching Xavier Rhodes. Of course, absolutely just shut people down.
Everybody loves Winfield. Absolute monster hitter. Was good in coverage, made huge plays, blocked kicks. There's so many great some of the best highlights you'll find out of a Viking player come from Antoine Winfield. And then Carl Lee, another Pro Bowl cornerback. Again, a guy that was a little bit before our time. But with Antoine Winfield, he had 834 solo tackles, 149 assists, 7.5 sacks, 11 fumble recoveries, and 27 interceptions. Made 3 Pro Bowls. With Xavier Rhodes, 3 Pro Bowls. And of course, like that season you meant. What season was that? 2016, you said?
For
Fred Smoot. First team All-Pro. He made first team All-Pro that season. 2017. First team All-Pro. Fred Smoot. I mean, if this was like the best players on the Minnetonka sex boat, he'd be on there for sure.
Jeez. Love boat, not the sex boat. You can't say those words.
Oh,
on the internet.
But we all know what it was, right? We all know what was going on out there. Let's keep on rolling here, though, because another position that has been absolutely stacked with, I think, in my opinion, 2 of the best who've ever done it, and that is number 1, Paul Krause. We did put Paul Krause number 1, even though my heart just goes to Hitman. But Paul Krause and then Hitman. Obviously, Paul Krause led NFL in interceptions with 12 as a rookie, was named first team All-Pro as a rookie, intercepted passes in 6 consecutive games in his first season with the Vikings, holds the Vikings single season record with 10 interceptions in a single year in 1975, holds the NFL record for career interceptions with 81, played in 8 Pro Bowls, starting safety in all 4 Super Bowls. obviously super stud, has a record that I know Casey's going to go into a little bit, but will probably never be broken. And then with Harry the Hitman, fifth on the all-time Vikings history in interceptions with 34, most sacks by a defensive back in Vikings history with 19 and a half, 6 career Pro Bowls, and I believe I believe he leads the Vikings in tackles for a secondary player, for a defensive back as well. So obviously Hitman all the way, all around type of player.
Yeah. But like you said, that interceptions record, I mean, 81 career interceptions, like you said. I'm looking at a list of the top 20. There is not one active player on that list, and that goes all the way down to 55 interceptions. So, I mean, to me, it feels like an absolutely just untouchable record.
Facts.
In my mind when it comes to interceptions.
Facts.
Like,
it probably, I can't, even though
the next
you think it wouldn't be so, you think it wouldn't be so crazy just because how the NFL has just become such a pass heavy league.
Right.
But wide receivers are so good. Quarterbacks are getting so good. It is different.
Right. Again, I'm trying to look at this list and see the next like active player who's even on this list. And you really got to scroll to get there. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. No one's touching that record. No one's touching it.
So this is kind of what this lineup would look like together. One thing I would say, we are cheating a bit because we did do a 12 personnel. But hey, we had to make sure we fit enough players in here because there's some greats here. And like we've already said, we already went through this. You got Carl Eller, John Randall, Alan Page, and Jared Allen on the line. You got Winfield, Xavier Rhodes, and Carl Lee in the cornerback spots. You got Matt Blair, Studwell, and Greenway for the linebackers. Paul Krause and Hitman Harry the Hitman playing the other safety spot.
We're playing that 2022 Buffalo Bills defense where they allowed them to have 12 men on the field.
Yep, exactly.
The defense, Kevin O'Connell said he wanted to learn how to run after that game because it's so
right, exactly, facts. All right, let's get, and then we got for special teams, we went with Gary Anderson,
all but
Greg
one.
Coleman. What's that?
All but one.
All but one. Gary Anderson, I mean, I might as well mention him. Two-time first team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, career success rate, 80% percentage, field goal percentage. Definitely missed a big one. 99.2 from extra points. Greg Coleman, another longtime Viking lifer, 10 seasons with the Vikes, the longest tenured punter we've ever had. Cordero Patterson, I mean, in my opinion, he's the greatest kick returner who ever lived. He has the record for the most touchdowns ever from a kick that position, with 9. 4-time Pro Bowl, 4-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, and was on the 2010s Hall of Fame team.
Percy Harvin would have been a close runner-up, I think.
Yeah,
for us.
Yeah, for us, for people we watched, and then
punt returner.
And then and then the at home, the homegrown Marcus Sherrills, another guy we have on this list, homegrown as well, that you'll see in a bit here. Tied for first in Vikings history with 10.5-yard career punt return average. Also the franchise leader in punt return touchdowns with 5.
Mm-hmm. He's a sure-handed returner as there was, and we haven't had a consistent returner since. Kind of frustrating. But going back to Greg Coleman, then obviously after his playing career was done, he had a good radio career with the Vikings on Sundays as part of their game day crew. I mean, love listening to the pregame preach. Always got me fired up to watch him. After that. So love me some Greg Coleman.
All right, let's jump into some offense. So
we'll start with the big uglies first. We'll start with the big uglies.
Yeah. So starting with
exciting, underappreciated players.
The offensive line, we went with Ron Yeri as tackle, Ron Yeri and Gary Zimmerman as the tackles, Mick Tinglehoff as the center, Randall McDaniel, of course, as the guard, and then the other guard we made Steve Hutchinson with honorable mention, political genius. Just kidding. Depending on what you think, I don't even know. But Matt Burke, Matt Burke for the Harvard University for the honorable mention with that. What do you think? What's your thoughts on some of these guys?
I wish we had this. I wish we had this offensive line right now. I guess she's kind of going where I guess just we'll start at the top. Ron Yeri, 7 consecutive Pro Bowls, 6-time first team All Pro, inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1987. Randall McDaniel, 9 consecutive Pro Bowls, 7-time first team All Pro, 2009 Hall of Fame inductee. All these guys are Hall of Famers. I guess we could just get that out of the way now. Mick Tinglehoff, 6 consecutive Pro Bowls throughout his time with the Vikings, 5-time first team All Pro. Hutchinson, 7 consecutive Pro Bowls, 4 with the Vikes, 3-time first team All Pro in his 6 seasons with Minnesota. And Gary Zimmerman played 6 seasons with the Vikings, making 4 Pro Bowls, 2-time first team All Pro selection. Again, all these guys are Hall of Famers. With how shitty our offensive line's been in years past, hopefully, this tackle list. Hopefully, someday Christian Darrisaw can make this list. Health is going to be a big thing with him, but I saw he was like number 6, I think, on ESPN's top 10 offensive tackles in the league. So hopefully, Christian Darrisaw someday ends up on this list.
Yeah. With Fred Cox, I would say our list is going to be a little bit more like it's definitely some positions that has to do with like how long have they been a Viking and those kinds of things. But part of it is like, if we were going to build a team today, who would we have on it? And Gary Anderson is, arguably a top 5 kicker of all time. So that's the reason why we have another guy on this list too at some point that I think some people would be like, all right, I wouldn't put him up there for Vikings all time. But I think some of the best, if a player comes in and has one of the best seasons we've ever seen from that position, I feel like that could deserve to be on the list over somebody that's just been here for a long time, but really never was like one of the greatest. David Dixon. I remember David Dixon. I think I got his autograph actually once.
Your daughter's softball coach, though.
Yo, where's my Hitman card? Hey, Norris. It should be on its way, man. It should be on its way. Definitely. I got it out last week. Later in the week, I was waiting a little bit because I was waiting for someone to give me their address as well, so I could bring them all to the USPS. So it should be on its way. Should be on it. But hey, let's go. You're in here. Let's keep going here though. Next, we got tight end list, which is kind of an interesting one. Steve Jordan, I think that one wasn't too difficult. 6 straight Pro Bowls, 6,300 yards receiving, 28 touchdowns in 13 seasons, all with the Vikings, with the honorable mention being Kyle Rudolph. We haven't had a lot of great tight ends here. Steve Jordan, obviously really good. Kyle Rudolph, very, very solid for us. It would be fair to say that from a talent perspective, we might have the best tight end we've ever seen on our roster right now in TJ Hawkinson. But, he's been here for 1 year in total pretty much on the field, if you consider his injuries and stuff. So it's hard to put him on this list just yet. If we would have I would probably would have put Hawk the next one on here. But
right. And again, if you were making a team to win today, you're probably putting Hawkinson on that roster. Steve Jordan, great tight end. Love Steve Jordan. Don't love his kid.
Yeah.
Not a Cam Jordan guy.
Yeah. I know I liked him at first, but no, Cam Jordan, even though Cam Jordan was kind of speaking some facts about Kirky boy.
Right.
But hey, it is what it is. Facts, maybe not. Because Kirk might make this list for all you guys know.
Never know.
Let's keep going here though. So you got tight ends.
This is going to be a scenario which I mentioned that we switched a player's position based on how they played that position when we get into this next position group here.
Yes. All right, let's keep going here. Joe Sensor. I didn't get to watch him personally, but based off of, I don't know, from my opinion, I don't think Joe Sensor's quite up there with some of these guys. I don't think he was even the level that Kyle Rudolph was. Cam Jordan is his kid.
Yep.
I know during his season when we were going to go draft, or like he was like a guy that people thought we were going to draft because of that. And then obviously he didn't, and then he became an enemy. Mm-hmm. Let's keep rolling this because we got, like Casey said, we did move a position of a player based on the way he plays, and we just want to put him on our list. But the number one here, we talked about having another homegrown player, and we got to go with the boy, CJ Ham, as the all-time greatest fullback for the Minnesota Vikings with 2 Pro Bowls, We added Jim Kleinsasser on here, technically a tight end, played like a fullback, wanted to put him on here somewhere, didn't think he'd fit into our tight end one, so we just added him to the list here. But yeah, what's your thoughts on the fullbacks, CJ?
I mean,
and like Jim Kleinsasser stuff?
local. I mean, I didn't go to school with him like you did, but I mean, local, small town Duluth, northern Minnesota kid, went from tryout to active roster, much like somebody else who we will mention in the next position group, or not the next position group, but we'll mention him a little bit later on here. But how can you not respect the game of CJ Ham? And then, I mean, obviously, was it Jerome Felton? Was that his name? What was his name? The guy that blocked.
Yeah, for Adrian Peterson.
I mean, obviously, he was the fullback that was instrumental in Adrian Peterson's record-breaking season. So he could have made this list as well. But I mean, Jim Kleinsasser, everyone loves some Jim Kleinsasser, and you can't not put CJ Ham on this list.
No. Hey, CJ, that was the easiest pick and I had in here. So we got to put CJ Ham on here. And he's not done yet. He's not done. Yeah. Tony Richardson. He's considered arguably the greatest ever, right? Tony Richardson? I think so. But yeah, he wasn't here long enough. This is a position where it was like, you're going to go with I'm going with a tenured guy here. And that's CJ Ham. How many? He's 9 seasons here. He's another guy that's been around forever.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
2 hours tonight.
Crazy
like the OG. I'm hoping for a 2-hour show tonight. I don't know about that, Gary.
Once we get into the nitty-gritty of football season, there might be some longer run times. Who knows?
Yeah. Let's go to the next position. And this is another no-brainer to me. And that is Adrian All-Day Peterson. Vikings all-team leading rusher with 11,747 yards. Second most yards in a single game of all time with 2,097, as we all know. Most rushing yards in a single game all time with 296, 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, and the 2012 MVP. Monster coming off of an ACL tear, knee destroy or whatever. Man, absolute stud. And then honorable mention, we got to put the Chuck Foreman, who we've talked to and met before. Dude's awesome. I like him a lot, and he's obviously a legend. He's definitely a person that is like our generation was the legendary one. Like our generation's the best, but I'm sure even he would say Adrian Peterson is arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. Hey, what up, Adam?
Delvin Cook could have been mentioned here if the dude wouldn't have gotten injured every other play. But what do you do?
Yeah, Delvin Cook was good though. Delvin Cook. I mean, Delvin Cook would have had some of the best seasons, but yeah, Robert Smith was really good.
Yeah, that was a tough one to leave off as well.
But not like compared to Adrian though.
Right. Adrian Peterson was a no-brainer for both of us.
He's a top 5 running back of all time. Yeah, and I would love to. I mean, he's my favorite because if you like think of the like that, his right when he started was when the league was like really starting to go towards being a passing league, like the one that it is today, like significant passing league. Right. So for him to come in here and kind of still put up that production when the league was kind of changing, I think needs to be looked at more often than it is compared to these guys like the Walter Paytons and the Barry Sanders and the OJs, and those. I mean,
like Emmitt Smith. Peterson, like the league has changed, and it has kind of changed to more about where running backs need to be able to catch the ball. So does that would that affect how picking Adrian Peterson on a team if you're looking to put a team together right now? In my mind, absolutely not. Just because the way that Peterson ran, like if the 2009 through whatever teams had Justin Jefferson on them, like we did not build around Peterson enough. Personally, we expected him to be the workhorse. We tried to get quarterbacks in there, it never worked out. Never had really great receivers to work around him either. So Adrian Peterson was here at an unfortunate time where we tried to work around him and we put way too much on his shoulders without building the team around him, unfortunately. But
yeah,
he was still able to do great things even with what we had here. So easy choice right there.
All right, so now wide receiver, one that I believe there's going to be some people who will disagree to this. I know some people will, but
maybe a couple. There might be, I guess, one or two names that people would say, "How could you not put this person on there instead?"
Yeah, well, that's for sure. As far as I know,
but who's the instead of though? Like, if I guess you show the list. Who on this list are you going to take off of it?
I think you could probably play some different in Adam for honorable mention. But as far as
Maybe,
this
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
we got Randy Moss number 1. We put Justin Jefferson over Chris Carter at number 2, and of course that means Chris Carter is number 3. We did end up putting Adam Thielen. So I said, say some of these players
Homegrown,
we're going to be a little bit
talent.
biased too, a
Yeah.
little bit. Like we watch, these are guys we watched. Obviously, we know there's guys like Sammy White and what's his name,
Anthony Carter could have been on
Anthony
the
Carter.
list.
Like there's some great wide receivers. One of our best position, arguably
Stephon
is the
Diggs
best
could have,
position.
like Stephon Diggs could have easily, like
Yeah.
Stephon
Honestly,
Diggs had
you
the
put
greatest
Stephon
play
Diggs
in
in
Minnesota Vikings history. Like
Yeah.
no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like he had the greatest, most memorable play in Vikings history.
Yeah, Sammy White.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, Randy changed the game. Like Randy,
you wouldn't put Sammy White over the top 3.
Like
I could see you putting that over Thielen.
Randy Moss literally changed the way that people draft. Like it was all about speed once Randy Moss came into the game, right? Justin Jefferson signed the biggest non-quarterback contract in NFL history, so that's got to put him on the list. And Chris Carter was just an all-time great Viking, one of my all-time favorite Vikings player. All he did was catch touchdowns. And again, if you want to talk about Jordan Addison, where Chris Carter went through a lot of the same stuff early on in his career, got cut from the Eagles because he couldn't figure out his problems with alcohol. Eventually did that, and look where it got him. So maybe Chris Carter reaches out to Addison, gives him a little bit of guidance on how to live life in the NFL. But Chris Carter, I could not. He's the one I put my foot down for on this list. Needed to make sure he made the top 3.
Dude, 100%.
And then, of course, Adam Thielen, like we said, he's our guy. There could have been other names, but it's a homegrown kid. Went just like CJ Ham went from tryouts to training camp to making the roster to honestly being at a time in his career that 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019 was a top 15 receiver in the league. You could have said probably pretty easily, if not higher. So like he went from Mankato Division II college to top 15 receiver in a pass happy NFL.
Mm-hmm. And with another thing with Justin Jefferson, actually, I'll kind of dive through all of their stats, but I'll start with Justin Jefferson here because the most receiving yards all time in his first 4 seasons of his career with 5,899. Yes, pass happy league, but he is arguably had one of the greatest starts by any receiver ever to play the game. And that's the reason why.
And his first season was a 16-game season where he didn't even play in all 16 games. He didn't play a good. He basically didn't play anything in his first 2. So a lot of those a lot of his, like when he broke the rookie receiving record, was without 2 games on the schedule. So that's got to be mentioned as well when you talk about that.
Exactly. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put a poll up here for all of you. Yep. All right. What do you all think? How would you guys do this? Let me send this. Boom. There we go. Who do you guys think is the second best receiver of all time? Justin Jefferson, Chris Carter, or other? Let us know.
And if it's other, drop that down in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah, Moss changed. Moss isn't out. I agree, Jamie. Addison is the same as seen in Booth. Jamie. Addison is the same as seen in Booth. That's crazy. You too evil. Oh yeah, let me go through the rest of these stats. So yes, like I said, with Justin Jefferson, arguably the greatest start from a wide receiver in NFL history. 4th most all time in first 4 seasons in receptions as well with 392. Ranks 8th in Vikings history already in just 4 years. 3-time Pro Bowler, All Pro. Obviously injured last year, still had 1,000 yards. Otherwise, he would have probably done it all over again. Randy Moss ranked 2nd in NFL history with 156 receiving yards and 3rd with 15,292 156 receiving touchdowns. 1,292 receiving yards, ranks 2nd in Vikings history with 587 receptions, 9,316 yards, and 92 touchdowns. More than 40% of his touchdown catches, 66 were for 30 plus yards, including 46 touchdowns catches of more than 40 yards, which I believe is number 1. Led the NFL in touchdown catches in 5 seasons, selected 6 Pro Bowls, and named top All Pro 4 times. Obviously, Randy Moss, greatest of all time, greatest ever.
The Thanksgiving game is literally like, if you looked at that stat line, like that's all you need to see to know how good Randy Moss was.
Dude,
but 3 catches, 190 some yards, and 3 touchdowns. Like, come on.
And Chris Carter was too. Chris Carter, especially for like since Chris Carter, but that's another thing too. Chris Carter played in a time when running was kind of the main thing. He was playing during the end of Walter Payton, and played during Barry Sanders and all that kind of stuff. But Chris Carter, known for his ability to score touchdowns, finishing 130 touchdowns, ranking second in NFL history at the time of his retirement, recorded the first of 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and earned first consecutive Pro Bowls as a Viking. Held or shared 19 teams' records upon his retirement. Set an NFL record with 122 receptions in a season in 1994, and repeated the feat in 95 with 122 catches for a career high 1,371 yards and 17 touchdowns. Finished with 1,101 receptions for about 1,400 yards or 14,000 yards, ranking as the NFL's second all-time leading receiver at the time of his retirement. So absolute baller. It's a situation. It's kind of like guys like, we'll get into some. I'm a spoiler alert. There's guys who they were the best, arguably the best at the time of their career. Like there was a time where it was like kind of Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, but then these new guys come and whatever. So that's the situation with him. That's what's really impressive with Jerry Rice is he's kind of been he's for most people, he's still at the top.
Consistently at the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now, where are we at with this?
Okay, 7 votes. Chris Carter, so we got 71%, Jefferson.
29. This is kind of how we saw it last time.
I'm kind of a fan of it. Look, I love me some JJ, but Chris Carter, it's fair. But Chris Carter.
I'm telling Justin Jefferson.
I have his picture of his 1,000th reception right here, and that's sitting on my desk behind me that we don't get to see much. This back here.
You got a little bit of potential. Like if Justin Jefferson is a little bit of if Justin Jefferson continues to play like he is, which you never know because you have Sam Darnold now, you have JJ McCarthy, regardless of how you feel about Kirk Cousins, he could put up the stats. So you don't know for sure how things will look with Justin Jefferson, even though he's that great though. So I don't think it really matters. But if he continues playing the way he has for the entirety of his next contract, I mean, he's going to destroy all the Vikings records. So, absolutely. And I think he will. Based on pure talent, I think Justin Jefferson is just a better receiver than Chris Carter was.
And Jefferson has shown, I mean, Carter did too, but Jefferson has shown so far early in his career he can do it with any quarterback. He put up 190 against the Lions with Nick Mullins throwing him the football.
Yeah.
So he can do it with just about anybody. I mean,
and Kirk Cousins do everything.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins was obviously his guy up to this point, so it'll be interesting to see what it's like when Kirk Cousins isn't his guy. Speaking of Kirk Cousins, let's get into our quarterback here.
Ooh.
The best quarterback.
So this is one that I think there's going to be people in here that definitely disagrees with here. But hey, there's not a lot of options. Quarterback, Kirk James, Cousins
did not make our honorable mention. Did not make our number one quarterback of all time for the Vikings.
Because the number one quarterback has got to be the one, the only, Fran Tarkenton, another guy that set all the records for them to be broken later on. Yeah, obviously, but a player I wish I would have, one player I could choose I wish I would have been able to see play is Fran Tarkenton. Obvious reasons, retired holding every significant passing record with 3,686 completions, 47,000 yards, and 342 touchdowns, 4 Super Bowl appearances, first or second team All-NFL 3 times, selected to 9 Pro Bowls during his career. So we'll go into that. And then the obvious, but the one that I do think was a little surprise is honorable mention. We did sneak Brett Favre on here. Outside of Fran Tarkenton, it's kind of like you got Kirk Cousins, you got Dante Culpepper, you got Tommy Kramer, you got Randall Cunningham, you got
1 year of Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, but it's kind of like none of them have really did great. They all had like good seasons. Kirk Cousins won 1 playoff game, all those kinds of things. But in my opinion, Brett Favre, arguably, if you take Fran Tarkenton out of there, Brett Favre had the greatest Viking quarterback season of all time. And that's there's not much here. If I was going to start a team today and I was going to say we have to put one of our quarterbacks from one season on the team, Brett Favre, it'd be between Brett Favre and Fran Tarkenton. And I put Brett Favre. I didn't get to really watch Warren Moon, but I didn't get to watch him personally. I know enough about him and watch some stuff of him as a Viking, and he did not do what Brett Favre did. Brett Favre, it's like the one time that our quarterback other than Fran Tarkenton, he was the reason why we should have went to a Super Bowl, even though he threw the interception. But he was the reason why. He carried the offense. He has Sidney. I like Sidney Rice. I like Percy Harvin. It's not Randy Moss. It's not Chris Carter. It's not Justin Jefferson. It's not Adam Thielen. It's not Stephon Diggs. None of them compare. And Brett Favre carried that team. What I think the Vikings had the best team that year in the NFL. So that's my rant on Brett Favre making our list here. Is I just think the best, one of the greatest Viking seasons ever.
For sure. But yeah, so that's
let's go.
94 fancy football.
That's funny.
But yeah, that is our offense. Let's bring up the over the top view of all those guys.
Oh yeah. So looking down at it,
give me this offense all day long, man. Give me this offense.
Oh man, you got Fran Tarkenton as your quarterback, CJ Ham in the middle there as the fullback. Again, 12 personnel. We needed to fit an extra player on both sides of the ball. Adrian Peterson as the running back. And I mean, that offensive line would be absolutely like we outside of the late 1960s, early 70s, whatever, we've never really had a complete, especially recently, a complete offensive line. We have great players like Steve Hutchinson. Matt Burke was in there a little bit with Hutch. And then, we didn't have one for a while. Then we got Darrisaw now. Brian O'Neill's pretty good, but we're not really letting him go up or like putting him at that level yet. But if you take like some of the best we've ever had and put them in a list, I feel like we come out with one of the best offensive lines that you could possibly make. Steven Jordan, tight end, wide receivers, absolutely insane with Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, and Chris Carter.
So question. Are there any current Vikings that you think by the time that they're done playing in the NFL, who we don't have a list, will be on this list? I mean, I know that doesn't leave you a ton of room for names. Because obviously we didn't mention Danielle Hunter at the edge rushers, which we could have put him on there. Like let's look at a guy like Dallas Turner. We haven't seen any of him in the NFL, but based off what he could be, do you foresee him maybe taking over one of those edge rusher spots?
Oh man, obviously it's way too early. I'm just going to be extremely optimistic and say yes. I don't know. The chances are definitely it's probably not. But do I think he could be the next great? Because, I mean, honestly, you're not too far. There's so many good defensive ends. But after our honorable mention, it wouldn't be crazy to have Danielle Hunter sneaking up there because he actually is one of the greatest defensive ends we've had, the greatest outside of Jared Allen that we've had since Chris Dolman, probably.
I know we had mentioned Darrisaw when we talked about tackles if he stays healthy. And if
he stays healthy, I think he definitely has a chance. I think he could go take Gary Zimmerman's spot. Ron Yeri's going to be a little bit more difficult to go grab, I think. Obviously, we talked about Justin Jefferson. The wide receiver thing is super stat. I think even though Jordan Addison did something super stupid, I think he's going to be an absolute stud. Even the people who think Jordan Addison is going to be really good, I think he's even going to be better than what you think. So I have a lot of praise. I don't think he's going to – can he make our list? Probably not. That'd be crazy. But hey, you never know. Yeah. But I just think he's that good. And then who else? Obviously, we already have Harry in here. I think Darrisaw was really good. We have CJ in here. I mean, JJ McCarthy. It's not crazy to say JJ McCarthy could be the second greatest. If he wins a Super Bowl, then hey, sorry.
He reminds me of a guy that kind of like Fran Tarkenton with his ability to move around. So maybe
I think he looks a lot. I mean, he looks a lot like, and there's no question that Fran Tarkenton's game, that JJ McCarthy is an evolution of a Fran Tarkenton type game.
Yeah. TJ Hawkinson, if he stays healthy and finishes his career here and keeps doing how he played these first couple seasons, I think he's a guy that could easily make that list as well.
Yeah.
You guys love Bradbury. No, I don't think Bradbury's going to make the running at center, but unfortunately for him. But outside of that, though, could Ivan Pace break the list at linebacker? Middle. Yeah. I mean, if we break down a middle linebacker, could he be better than what we've seen there? I think he could.
Yeah, because again, we have a lot of long tenured players that we're able to get a lot of tackles and things like that, but we haven't had like a superstar linebacker before. And it's kind of like, and like the reason why we compare, obviously it's really early. You never know. He's had one season, but comparing him to Randall or to John Randall with being undrafted, undersized, like that whole thing for his position. I mean, Ivan Pace has that vibe, and it feels like Ivan Pace is going to be the guy. I want to see another season with him to really feel that way, because we've seen guys. I mean, even Brian Osmoa, we saw, not to that extent, but we saw him come in, liked what we saw when in his limited play, and now he's like barely on this team, it feels like. So we need to see another season with Ivan Pace.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think there's a really good chance. I think that's a really good one. TJ Hawkinson, really good.
Yep. Corner, I don't see anybody at corner. Safety,
not right now.
Look, this is a long shot, but
Lucene.
Cam Bynum has played pretty dang well over these last couple years.
Not the list. I can't see him making the list.
Well, he's came up in a lot of big spots, a lot of big time interceptions, right? If he re-signs here and he keeps moving forward, could he potentially find his way onto like an honorable mentions, or at least in consideration? Because like, as we talked about, we don't have a ton of safeties. We have the two top safeties like that we've seen, right? We have Krause, we have Harrison, but outside of that, like, do we have much else? How much was the white helmet? It was, I got the replica version. It was like $189 after tax. There's a little piece of plastic inside and there's no padding, so you can't actually wear it. You can get like the actual like game worn one.
Otherwise he'd be wearing
$380. And I'm like, God, I am buying that. So $189 for the replica helmet.
Though. That thing is freaking sweet.
Mm-hmm. Leaving Ponder off the quarterback. I got the Ponder jersey hanging in the closet.
Hey, Austin, my guy. Yeah, he does have the Ponder in there. I know last time
many changes. It's been a Sam Bradford jersey. It's been a Kirk Cousins jersey. Was almost a Will Levis jersey, but we didn't.
Definitely not going to become a JJ McCarthy.
No, it's not going to become a JJ McCarthy jersey.
JJ McCarthy taking over this Fran Tarkenton spot. I'm telling you. At least the thing is, it's not going to be hard for JJ. Like, it'll be a disappointment if he doesn't at least get under that, like a big disappointment. Like, he should pass up Culpepper and Kirk Cousins just for the fact that he's the highest we've ever picked a quarterback in his franchise history. So hopefully we do see that.
Yeah, but outside of that, though, I can't really think. Offensive line, we talked about Darisaw. I think that's about it. Running backs, no, I don't see one. Yeah, I can't really think of anybody else that might end up that would be a potential for this list. But
there's some out there though, man. There's some out there. I mean, you got like, I think Ivan Pace was a really good one. TJ Hawkinson. I mean, TJ Hawkinson talent wise, I think he could already be up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we kind of JJ McCarthy is the one I'm keeping my eye on, obviously, which I think a lot of people would be. But yeah. So that's our list. That's our all-time Vikings. Anything else that you want to talk about before we get into that giveaway?
I mean,
things are. We're a month. We're a month away from the. We're a month away from the first preseason game. 2 weeks from this weekend, the rookies report. Then the vets shortly after them. So we got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff coming through the pipeline here, which is.
Hey, what's going on, James? Hey, we're gonna be popping off here, buddy. Maybe next time.
I've been trying to get a Winter Warrior. I was actually thinking about getting a Chris Carter Winter Warrior jersey. I think that'd be pretty sick. Then I can't ruin them because that's what I do when I buy current players' jerseys. They suck, and I can't do it.
Again, everybody, we're giving away the GG Sports Podcast shirt. Probably the most comfortable t-shirt you'll ever own. Get the hashtag Skols in the comments. Like the video, subscribe. We're going to do the duck. Last time, anyone that was in here last time, we're going to try to do that duck race thing again. So what we will do is we will pick 5 people. We'll pick 5 people and who will join the duck race. Whoever wins the duck race wins the shirt. Couple extra steps, but it's a lot of fun. So we'll definitely be doing that. So get those hashtag Skols in the comments. I think who won last time? Oh yeah, God, who was it? I forget.
No stop, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Who was it?
I think it was a new winner. Last time. It was.
I don't think those two have won anything. At least not shirts.
Yeah, not sure. We've only done.
I could have swore it was because
it was. I'll look it up really. Google Payments. Verify your bank account. Oh, weird.
Oh, Rob did.
Rob.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what it was. Rob.
Yeah.
Get those hashtag Skols, Juicy Lucy. Let's go. Let's go. Quack. These are fun. Last time we had fun doing it, so we're doing it again. We're doing it again. Let's bring. All right, I'm gonna bring. Actually, we'll do. So you got to be here to win. You already know. So I'm gonna bring this up right now.
I just,
I need to win your nuts.
I just caught the name. I just caught the name. That's very nice. I like it.
What's that?
I like it.
What name?
Good old Don. You got Don here.
Don Keating.
I love it.
Don Keating's in the building.
I love it. What are we doing in this background here?
Yeah, my bad. All right. Oh, well, this is what we want, right? There we go.
There you go.
Last time I did this, I was kind of screwing up, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. But let's get it. Entries 14. Got to be here to win. Hashtag Skols. Giving away the GG Sports Podcast shirt. Most comfortable shirt you'll ever wear in your life. I'm telling you right now. And the fact that it has GG Sports Podcast is just a major bonus.
By the way, Jamie, guess what? Justin Jefferson overtook Chris Carter in the poll.
Let's go. I just took it off too. Hey, I think he's that guy. I want to do one more. I'm going to put one more poll in here before moving on. We'll go. I'm sure people will.
Hey guys, let's cool it on the Skol spamming. Let's
cool it
on the Skol spam.
You got to be here to win. We're gonna give this one away. Hit that poll. Hit that poll. Yeah, guys, let's chill out on that. Let's chill out on the hashtag Skols. Chill out on the hashtag Skols. It doesn't actually work that way. No, at least I don't think.
I just what it should do is if you put an odd number, it actually takes you out. Kidding.
Yeah, too many. I think too many is bad luck. All right, let's give this away. So 5 names. We're taking 5 names, and you got to be here to win. Boom. Let's start first, and then you get entered into the duck race. Got to be here to win. Got to be here to win. And the first one is boom, boom, boom. Big Raylan Dad. Let's go.
So Big Raylan is name 1.
I already know you're in here. I have to boom. Oh, shoot. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. Let's keep running it. Keep running it. And next we get gotta be here to win. That's all that matters. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Boom. Bob Swede. Bob, are you still in here?
Big Raylan wants JJ in instead of himself. I guess he did get that. I guess he did. He's
Big Raylan putting JJ. All right. All right. JJ's in.
So that's 2 names.
What we got? Is Bob in here? Because Big Raylan said JJ instead of himself, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So Bob would still be named too.
Oh, Bob is in here. Let's go. So we got 2. All right. All right. Let's go again. Let's run it. Let's run it. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Let's go. Let's go. Who we got? Boom. 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 Oh, you only get one.
Reroll. Unless JJ wants to pick a name to put in. Otherwise, reroll.
Yeah, JJ. Unless you want to pick a name if you want to pick a name, JJ.
Either pick a name or reroll. You do not get put in twice.
Yeah. What do you think, JJ?
Maybe, sure. Got to pick one. Reroll, put a name in, whatever you want.
What do you want us to do, JJ? Do you want us to re-roll or do you want to pick somebody? I pick James. All right. Let's go. James is in here. All right. Thingy honey dick and me. All right. He running it back. He running it
Three
back. All
names.
right. Let's
Two
keep
more.
it going. Let's keep it going. For the fourth spot. And we got, it's going to keep going one after another. Boom. Boom. James, it is.
God damn it.
James, you get to pick somebody. Or should I roll this again?
It's ridiculous.
I don't know. This is crazy.
How does this? Are you rigging this thing?
Know.
You rigging this thing?
Like
How's that work?
Way. Many people's possible GG shirts. Oh, true. Dude, 100%.
Shirts, hats, all of it. Well, once we get hats.
Roll again or JJ. JJ's got one already.
Yeah,
so we'll roll it again. All right. Let's keep going.
Roll.
Let's keep going. Boom. Come on. And boom. Skol for Life Barber.
All right.
Let's go. I know my guy's in here. And
even if he's not, we'll find him. One more name.
All right. Last name. Got to be here to win. All that good stuff. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Last name. Who is it? Boom. Austin Chastic. I know he's in here. Or he was in here. Austin, you in here? He was in here. Austin. There he is. Let's go.
We need
I know he's going to be ready for this duck race.
For these duck races. We need to get we need to see if our mics can get those filters to where it's like that really like old school sounding like horse race call where it's like you sound like you're like muffled when you're talking. That'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you could probably do it just by doing this, couldn't you? Just cup the mic and just talk.
No. Yeah, we could try.
Nah, these things are too good, unfortunately.
All right, boom. Bringing it up here. 45 seconds. Whoever comes in first place wins. And I always forget where the play is.
Because you don't want to hit the...
No, don't want to put... I thought what happened last time I did this?
Because like there's something that said like start at the top and you hit that instead and it brought you to... Can you scroll?
First off, why is this... There we go. Let's see here. No, not that.
Not that one.
Set, you think? Is it set?
Try it.
Oh, there it is. That's what it was. We made it this far time. Okay. This is how this is going to work. Like I said, the first person across the finish line is the winner of this t-shirt. Let's get it going. 3, 2, 1. Almost picked the wrong button. All right. Who we got?
Because now you go to have fun with it. If we had the mic filter, it'd be hilarious. Yeah.
Austin, is it working?
No, it really isn't. You gotta get
JJ's catching up. Austin's at number 1 in the lead. In the lead with JJ right behind him.
I mean,
third place.
Barber's Batman Duck. Well, Batman Duck's gonna win.
Batman Duck is.
How can you lose Batman Duck?
Chastic's still in front.
Oh,
Barber's coming right behind. Barber. JJ's falling back a little bit. Austin's still a little bit above.
Barber. Oh, it's a two duck race. It's a two duck race.
Wait. JJ's coming back. He's coming back. He wants it.
JJ.
He wants it.
He did it.
And he takes it. JJ with the shirt win.
Wow, what a comeback for the ages. College graduate Duck beats Batman Duck and Pink Duck to take home the gold.
Let's go. Very Congratulations, nice. JJ. Obviously, I have your information, so I'll get this shirt out to you, buddy. I'm way too good. Let's go. Biggest comeback in Duck history. Yeah, dude, it's up there. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
That was pretty good.
Don Keating called it. My duck. Hey, next time, man. Next time. We'll be doing these duck races more. People, I don't know. It seems fun. So why not? Right? We got a lot of different things.
They're still quacking in the background. I don't think you shut it off yet.
I'll turn that off. We got a lot of things coming up here, though, from a giveaway standpoint. We're going to be creating an email list pretty soon here We'll be doing a weekly email for the season. We'll probably be doing a little better of a giveaway on that for people who are subscribed to that and other things. We have all kinds of giveaway plans. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for people to win some stuff here. So,
and maybe, I mean, and down the road, maybe next week, maybe by the time we're back on here, maybe you guys can get some free underdog bucks. We'll find out.
Oh, foreshadow. Hop on CS, Jamie. I don't know if I'll be able to tonight. I'm not sure. I know. I wish Skol Soup was in here right now. I haven't seen him in a while.
Terrorists win.
Yeah, terrorists win. Anything else?
I think that just about does it. Let's see. Wish we didn't have first off. I don't have G.
Wish we could.
Yeah.
JJ white shirt, y'all size. Oh.
Right.
Hey, we'll get one from. Hey, we're gonna be around together for a long time, JJ. We'll get one from you for sure. We'll get some hats coming. We'll get some hats. I think that's our next thing is hats. Our next thing's hats. I know Gary really wants it. We'll hit up Gary. We'll talk some stuff.
Hats, sweatshirts, all that type of stuff.
Yep, all that good stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, we have all kinds of plans. It's gonna be cool. People are gonna have some options here.
Absolutely. Well, anything else? Anything else? Or we
first beers on you?
I mean, hey, I'd take that. I don't think they'll let it.
I don't think beer. I'll just have a Sprite. Yeah, that's probably good.
That's fair. But yeah, as we mentioned, this is our last week part-time in it. We'll be off next week. And the following week, I believe we'll have Skol Experience with Dave. Finally, he's just finally getting settled into his new job, which is why he's been kind of quiet on here with us. But he will be back in full force once the season swings around. So we'll have a show with him that week. And then the following Monday will be every week on here. So
we got some of those. Speaking of, I bet you Too Evil wants a GG thong. He probably wants that one worn like our hats too, huh?
He wants to. We'll have to wear them on stream and then send them to him.
And then send it to him. I think he'd be into that.
Gross. But anyway, before things get too much farther off the rails, as I said, we'll be back to full time in a couple weeks. We got a lot coming up, training camp and everything kicking off. I'm excited for it all. Hope you guys are too. Thanks for joining us. Anybody that dropped some super chats, we do appreciate it. If you didn't, we appreciate you being here regardless. See you guys next time.
Skol Vikes.